Wow, we would have never believed this. You can listen to us on our podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Google. Go out there and listen to us when you're driving to work, or maybe when you're just sitting at home, or you're on the treadmill at the gym. Go on out there and listen to our podcast. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're excited about it too.
I'm going to borrow a term from you, even though it's not necessarily one you came up with, but you would say about Elon, he's gangster.
Yeah, he is.
Hey everyone, welcome to Relevant Rants. I'm so excited to have our good friend Kyle back and my good friend Danny in the studio, Tom's son-in-law.
Yeah.
And we don't get this privilege very often.
Nope, exciting to have him home. Really excited about the Thanksgiving Day holiday. And Kyle, it is good to have you back.
Thank you, Tessa.
And I'm back
Taylor and Tiffany for allowing these men out of the home.
I'm back by popular demand. I couldn't even go into a Starbucks without people, hey, we need you back in. So, I mean, it was crazy.
I had to have a special meeting with you.
Yeah, it was like the demand was so high.
So
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we got a lot of stories to bring to you today. All right, so first up is Kanye, or Ye. Did I say that right, guys?
Yeah, yay. That's how you pronounce it.
And he's asked Trump to be his running mate.
Is that a question that was his?
Well, you know, I thought it was pretty funny, but and the reason I brought this up was just because, like, does he really want Trump to be his running mate? I don't think so. And if you look at some of the videos he's posted on Twitter, which we shared, he's basically like, he did it to Trump to like thumb in his eye. It's like, yeah, you want to be my running mate? You can be my VP. Like, Kanye is like half crazy anyway. Like, he's gonna actually accomplish anything.
Allegedly.
Well,
It kind of does suck because they're kind of making
history.
every one of us like, it's like one of those things, like, I get it, but like, you guys are kind of like making us look bad.
It does. It was honestly because
It's a little annoying.
because you would think Trump would probably not want him as a running mate either, right?
Right. Oh,
Can
no.
you
Yeah,
imagine?
definitely.
Can you imagine the pay-per-views that would sell if they fought for it?
Oh, that'd be
I'd pay
fun.
for that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'd pay
Hey,
for
Alex,
that.
can you bring up that video real quick?
But Trump gets a club since he's like 80. He gets a golf club.
Has that ever worked for anyone in history?
You're gonna lose. Tell him he's gonna lose.
I'm like, well, hold on, Trump. You're talking to Ye.
I mean, he said he wouldn't be dropped, and I think like what, an hour later he's dropped. That didn't age well.
I'm just sitting here watching Danny, and he's just like in bewilderment.
Hey man, I like the guy.
I like Ye.
I really do.
I'm
man,
a Yeer.
But I mean,
I mean,
I like Ye and Trump.
yeah,
But there's certain things he should
Exactly.
stick to: music and shoes, right?
are you gonna
Yes.
are you gonna vote for Ye?
I'll tell you what, I
vote for Ye?
love that
I'm
he
not voting for
highlights. No, seriously though, I love that
No.
he's the only person bold enough to highlight the fact that he'll come out and say the most dangerous place for a black child is in their mother's womb. Who else is saying stuff like that? So I love that he's bold. I love that he's saying that they're their own worst enemy, right? Like, who else is getting up and using their platform? Now, is he also an idiot? Yeah. But, like, you know what I mean? At least he speaks
Those are
his
strong
mind.
words being thrown around here,
Right? Well, it's like there's a way to do it, too,
Yeah,
right? You don't have to be so
I
divisive.
do like him. I don't. I definitely wouldn't vote for him.
And then
president.
Trump is a business
Although if it
person.
was between him or Biden, I don't think he'll make it that far. I'd
won't.
vote for Kanye.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see the debate.
That'd be hilarious.
I mean, on a serious note, I would really like neither of them to run, so that way we could actually rally around a leader who's going to try and unite the country. I just feel like the divisiveness, not that they're doing it intentionally, I think it's just who they are. Everything is such a cancel culture right now.
Well, one of the things I think we could tell our audience to watch is Danny Jimenez's short about Trump and DeSantis.
Yeah.
Does a really great job in under a minute discussing it. So go back out there. And
Are you
check out one of
DeSantis
our
or Trump?
I like both.
Whoever wins the primary?
I like a lot. I like them both a lot. That's the thing. And I've always kind of like, okay, DeSantis, like kind of.
I'm DeSantis.
Take the back seat.
Yeah.
For these next 4 years, kind of, and let Trump win. So I think we potentially can get
12 years.
12
But
years.
seriously, though, do you think Trump actually even wins? Like, on a very serious note?
I think he wins if this is, and not to be controversial at all, but if this is, as Jesus as the judge of who votes, I think Trump wins by a landslide. In all honesty.
So I said that I would vote for Kanye over Biden. Of course, I'd vote for that table over Biden, but that table probably has a higher IQ.
Equal competence?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Equal competence?
Hey, it's able to stand on its own.
But I think you're hearing a little bit of that said in Biden's administration and his party, that they're not sure. I mean, we can kind of get the gist that they're not wanting him to run, but only if it's Trump. Other than that, they don't want him to run.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're hearing that.
But again, I would just like to touch. I think Kyle said this before the show even started, was that we can't get in our own way, right?
No.
Already, look how many people are trying to battle Trump already. I mean, it's already yay, and not DeSantis deliberately, but people are trying to force it in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But DeSantis shut it down, and I was really appreciative of
Yeah.
that. He's like, dude, relax, bro. Like, I think he literally said, chill.
It ain't about that.
Yeah, it's not about that. And so I really, really love that. Honestly, if I had to pick who'd be president, I'd pick DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
I would. I think he has great policy. And I mean, he was in the military. And I mean, I think that should be something that, a president needs to be, serve in the military, right? And that's one thing that's important to me. And I think DeSantis checks every single box. And I mean, look at Florida. I mean, they love him. Won in a landslide victory. I don't think in the state of Florida, there's no Democrats in office right now. It's all Republicans. So, I mean, he's doing a fabulous job.
Well, Danny, I as we look at it, I think DeSantis said some things, hard things, but backed them up and did them. And I think people appreciate, what's the old adage? Practice what you preach. And I think they appreciate that, And I don't think if you look at Biden's history in politics, 40 some years, he has a hard time practicing what he preaches because he'll waffle on whatever the flavor of the month in politics is. He'll get behind it because he just wants to be popular.
Well, you look at the backbone of his running campaign was the student loan debt, right?
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. I really don't.
And it's not that you don't have student loans.
No, I have student loans,
but you pay them. But you pay them.
I'm gonna
Are you
pay
going to pay? You don't think I should pay for him? Because Biden does.
Yeah, I know. But even that he couldn't fulfill.
Yeah,
and now he got pushed back.
You did hesitate there when you're like, wait, are you offering?
I think he's like, well, you want to pay? Yeah.
You want to pay for
You want to offer?
No, I don't.
Here,
I
I'll
definitely
tell-
don't.
You can pay for them if you want. But I'm not going to pay on the dime of the American people and a lot of people who worked
Unless
hard
it's me.
to pay for their student loans. Yeah, I'll go on your back.
So Trump's been in the news a lot recently, and of course the Democrats, liberal, the mainstream media is very much they've been trying to tear him down. So they're like, oh well, they never, which is funny. The House came out just like a week ago or whatever. They probably McCarthy's going to be the House
Speaker.
majority, right?
Yep.
Speaker. Yes, thank you. But
Kevin's a friend of ours.
yeah, and yeah, good friend of both of you guys. And they're starting to look into Hunter Biden more. And they're like, oh well, they never did this to Trump. Are you kidding me? They did this to Trump before he even got into office.
They never
They've done this
never
to Trump
quit.
religiously.
They never quit.
Yeah,
They're still doing it.
So the newest thing, and they've been pursuing this for a while. Timing is hopefully fortunate, but they on the tax returns for Trump, right? The Supreme Court has said, okay, you guys can get the tax returns, and there is some historical precedent, and there's some rulings on that. They're going to get them, but one of the big things that they said, and I thought this was funny, and all of us have been in a high level of business, if not business owners. They said, oh well, he claimed losses on his tax returns. How stupid is that? Like from anybody who's been in business, right? How stupid is that to say, oh, that's a strike against him? Does every intelligent business owner claim a loss every time they possibly can? And it's legal. It's not like it's against the law or against statutes or anything like that.
What you do is you come up with two columns, credit and a debit.
Right.
And at the end, if there's zero to pay, then you pay zero. But you use the law to figure out what's legally allowed to claim.
There's parameters that are designed to take advantage of.
And that's why
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and that's why you have somebody prepare your taxes. And at the end of the day, you want them to tell you either you pay or you don't. And I think Trump's been saying, my tax guys say don't pay.
Yeah, tax.
I don't think
tax
Trump,
evasion is bad. Tax avoidance is a different story.
I don't
Nobody
think Trump
wants to
sits there
voluntarily-
on
Hashtag real estate.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm
think-
going through this right now. My tax guy's like, "Hey, you might need to buy a new truck." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
tell me worse things."
Ah, golly. All right.
So I don't think Trump sits there and puts his tax information in himself.
He has very smart advisors.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think he's flipping the page going, I wonder if I can. They have that information. They're doing it for him, and he's paying them a lot of money to do it, and they're using
Could
tax
you imagine
codes.
the complexity of those tax returns?
No. Okay.
And now they have a month to review them roughly, right? And during the Christmas holidays, I guess the Supreme Court had to rule in the favor of, because of precedent and everything. There was some kind of 1924, 1923, something like that, ruling that allowed that. And then there's also precedent with Nixon because they got his tax returns as well.
Well, I worked for a large international agribusiness firm, and I remember Ernst Young would come out and spend a whole week with us.
Oh yeah,
going through our taxes, and then they would tell us at the end of our taxes if we were audited, and they would tell us yay or nay. It was so. I mean, it was a week, of specialists coming around asking
and
us
how
all.
much more complex do you think Trump's are than that?
Well, I mean, he didn't know so much more than we were. But I'm just saying, took a week for Ernst Young. They were one of the big sixes back in the day. I don't know about now.
So, so the next thing we have up is Elon Musk, right? We've all been talking about Elon. A lot of stuff goes on with Twitter right now. There was.
I'd like to point something out though, because CBS did an independent review and they say the laptop's real. Aren't we so glad CBS did that? But did they?
Yeah, it only took them like how many extra years?
2 years. But it took them 2 years to just do the independent review. And they didn't have to do the independent review because it was real from the
We already
beginning.
knew this. Yeah.
But now they say it's real, so I guess it is real.
So we could believe it now.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, CBS.
Yeah.
But what I think is cool is Elon. We were talking about Hunter a second ago. He's come out and there's several things going on with, and we'll talk some more about that in a second. But Elon's saying, hey, whatever Twitter did in regards to Hunter and trying to cover that up, we're going to expose it all.
Yep.
And I think that they should.
Hallelujah.
Right.
But I think he's exposing all of it, everything.
Yep.
I think our
And this is why
I think
left
one
feet-
of our producers on our show mentioned that he's got a list of things. That was Nathaniel Tweed. I think there's a list out there that shows what he is going to censor. I mean, so he's saying, hey, let me just print what I'm doing.
Right.
With that, I don't think Elon's been afraid of just saying what he's doing because he does it every day.
Oh no, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He's going to space.
So he had a guy come against him recently, and I forget his name. He's like been kind of like out of the news, so he's mostly irrelevant. What was the guy's name? I can't.
Stephen King.
That's right. That guy. You guys remember him
Oh,
all
the
from
scary-
the 80s and the 90s.
Hey man, I
back when
love
he used
your
to be relevant.
I love your horror books, by the way. But
Yeah. I
Stay out of-
like the Pet Cemetery, but the original one, not the new one. The new one was awful. But he said
We're doing a movie review. You know, Danny has a movie review
I know.
blog.
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, give it a shot, Danny. What's your blog?
it's called. I'm Mexican, by the way. So this is this is
You
where
had
it
to
stems
preface
from.
it with that?
Yeah, oh no, I have to. It's called Rotten Tomatillos.
I love that, dude. All right, we're gonna put a link up for you guys if you guys want to go check it out.
We had a
But
great review on Pulp Fiction.
I know you never seen Pulp Fiction. That's kind of crazy.
No, I did.
He did a review on
I
it.
did a review on
I
it.
know, but before that, you never.
No,
saw
I
it?
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you hadn't seen it before.
It is a great cinematic film.
It
man.
is. It is. But I'll let you get into that on the Tomatillo site. So Stephen King and Elon had this thing, but Stephen King said, "Oh yeah, you know, all the advertisers are going to pull out. The only one that's going to be left is Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy."
And he got a bunch of advertisements.
And he's doing
free.
great things, right? Which is interesting because I thought, when this came out, I was like, oh, maybe this is a platform I should advertise on. If everyone's leaving, the price of ads is probably going down. Especially during Black Friday, the ads always go up, right?
I have neck pain.
Yeah.
I have neck pain when I sleep.
I actually was looking up My Pillow last night. I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people
I actually
did.
have some. It's amazing.
I think, and I think a lot of people
Talk
started.
about that after.
They probably looked up Stephen King too because they forgot about him.
Right, exactly.
Elon Musk advertised both of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
He advertised Stephen King, and he advertised
And
Mike Lindell. was still-
when King said that, Elon was like, more or less, I'll kind of paraphrase and interpret for you. He was like, oh yeah, I forgot about you, dude. Like, what's up? Oh, and are these pillows good? Because I think I might go buy one.
I don't think you're going to catch Elon Musk off guard.
Nah.
Well, wouldn't it be cool,
You know how
Danny?
much stuff he's
Wouldn't
had
it be
to do
cool,
with-
Danny, to say, "Hey, I want to catch a ride on my next spaceship"?
Yeah.
He has that power. I want to go space.
I could just imagine
It's
Elon.
getting a little tough on Earth. I'm going to go space.
I can just imagine Elon just on his phone just all day, just trying to find somebody to troll. He's just on his phone scrolling. AOC, okay, I'll troll her. You know?
The only thing I'll mention is he's the only guy who says what nobody's willing to say. Starting with Jeffrey Epstein, right? He goes, hey, what about this client list? why is no one outraged? We're not going to go into that, but I'm just saying. And now he's wanting to make mention of all of the stuff that might have been hidden, having to do with Hunter Biden. Like that, he's a hero.
You know, if
They
Elon-
should do that at Facebook. They should do that at
Hey,
Insta. Or
if he had the Jeffrey Epstein list, he would have already published it.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, he would have poured it out on Twitter.
He knows the truest
and he would have tagged
form
everybody
of trust
involved.
is authenticity. The
Yeah,
truest form of
I'm
trust
going to
is
borrow a
authenticity.
term from you, even though it's not necessarily one you came up with, but you would say about Elon, he's gangster.
Yeah, he is. He's
He
does-
is 100%.
He's not owned by anybody. He does what he wants, where he wants, how he wants, and that's how you know he's like legit. He's not biased. He'll just tell you what's going on.
He
Right.
creates his own trending. I love that sync. Let that sink in. I mean,
Yeah.
he gave us an illustrated message.
In all fairness,
Did you
being the
guys-
richest man, it kind of helps.
You guys see how he fired half of his like woke employees?
Yeah.
He created a soundboard. You guys didn't hear about that?
No.
We'll go into it later. But
Yeah.
anyways, he created a soundboard to like use other people's voices to fire someone.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, well, did you see the letter he sent out basically saying, hey, if you guys don't want to work, you can get out of here?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that one too. Just like, and everybody cried about it. Like, what are you talking about? You have a job and you probably are paid very, very well, and you're gonna cry about like, oh, your boss says you have to work, only because all of these years up until this point you haven't had to work.
Well, now it's being ran like a business, not some free for all. No,
Not a
wasn't
giant
profitable.
party that the
Yeah.
that the investors are paying for.
Yep.
Yeah.
The average salary was $146,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Whew.
Yeah.
Our on-site director said the average salary is $146,000. Let that sink in, public school teachers.
Let that sink
Our
in.
public school teachers, let that sink in.
Love you,
That's
Tiffany.
funny. So, guys, do we have permission to go forward onto the next article?
Danny?
Yeah. We're all good to go.
Okay, so you had one, and I was asking you off camera, what do you identify as? And you were saying Hispanic.
Identifies as a Hispanic male.
Oh, so bring us home.
No, but I just want to touch base on the LGBTQIA, I think it is now.
Plus, minus, hashtag,
whatever.
dollar sign.
Yeah. Yeah, dollar signs, a lot of dollar signs.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's
I want to
mostly about that.
I want to talk about the nightclub shooting and some recent information that we found out that kind of we already knew, but it's been published. So the shooter, he identifies as non-binary. And
Anderson Lee Aldrich.
Yes, and he goes by they, them. So they in all the paperwork, it's not Mr., it's not Mrs., it's MX.
Huh.
MX. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Mix.
Mix.
Sir Mix-a-Lot?
Yeah. So that's
I
what he's
say it?
going by.
Yeah.
Mixed up.
There you go.
Yeah, he's very mixed up. But I think the biggest thing here is to take away from is that everybody was saying that this was due to Republican hate rhetoric and just the stance on
Just like the Pelosi story.
exactly like that. Exactly
Yeah,
like
that's a
that.
whole,
But
like,
at
hour-long
least
conversation itself.
This came to surface. You know, that one we'll never hear about.
No,
and we'll
they'll
never
bury
will.
it.
But we know the truth of that. But we're to blame, right? Because I don't condone their anti-biblical and just blasphemous behavior that goes against the naturality of the world.
Strong words.
Danny, can I interrupt you real quick to
Go
tell you
for it.
how CNN, who they put the blame on?
Go for it.
Says the suspect in the mass shooting of the LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado had a tumultuous upbringing in which he was bullied as a teenager and raised a time by his grandmother, according to the emerging portrait of the alleged gunman pieced together by CNN. So they're putting the blame on whoever bullied him and his grandma.
Yeah.
Sounds like to me. I mean, it's
Passing
like-
the buck.
It can't be his fault because he's a leftist now.
What about Uvalde? What about Buffalo? What about all those other people who had terrible upbringing and they had a torn family dynamic? I know. Kyle very
did.
big on the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And I love his
Yeah.
stance on it. But I
hey,
mean,
what Kyle? What you're saying that you're not going to, fall into that victimized?
Yeah, you're not a product of your environment. You know what I mean? You're not a product of you're not a
You-
product
you
of
could
your
choose to be
circumstance.
different.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm big on that. That's huge to me. But it's like, can you imagine showing up in front of a judge and like, yeah, the reason I killed these people, there's this dude, second grade, he bullied me. What?
And I was
What does
raised
that
by my grandma.
justify anything?
And I was
so
raised
you
by my
went to a
grandma.
strip
Yeah.
mall and shot up a gay nightclub.
Right.
Oh, nice.
When he identified as the group he was
Exactly. And
They, and that's what's sad when they make this stuff like that political, where they're just hoping and praying that this was some racist, right wing, crazy, Republican, and it's like actually quite the opposite. It's just like the Epstein story. It was someone from and then so it's like the second they find out who it was, they'll start to bury the story.
Yep.
They stop giving it credibility. Like, oh, this is just nothing. He had a really bad childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, irrelevant. The dude did some bad stuff.
And I feel bad for the people who got shot. I remember the night when Danny, your wife, was in Thousand Oaks, and the country bar, a shooter entered and was killing people, and we couldn't get a hold of Tessa for a while, and we were worried. And Tessa was okay, she wasn't there. But I feel bad for the people that got shot at this nightclub.
It's horrible.
They were people's children. They were people's loved ones. And it's terrible. And to start casting out speculation on whose fault it is. It's the shooter's fault.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, just because, let's say he did get bullied, right? And I sympathize with that. But it doesn't mean that, we go to a
That doesn't
nightclub and just
justify it.
kill people.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. And so I think I posted this on Instagram, and I go, guess what, American people, is that gay people and trans people, they can have firearms.
Well, I think it's pretty fair to say, and I don't know if you guys would agree with this or not. I know where Tom stands on this, but I think most of us at some point in our life were picked on and teased and given a hard time in school,
Oh, yeah.
or maybe even bullied. I was a bit.
I was the bully.
Okay. But, am I going out and... No, I'm going to take responsibility for myself.
Yeah,
and
100%.
frankly, I look at that as, it's made me a better person because I've taken it and, okay.
Not the fact that you were bullied.
Right.
It's what you did with
Exactly.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There again, you guys have heard our stories.
Take responsibility for your own self.
Every year I got put into a special class because of my speech impediment.
And were you a little bit bullied?
Not bullied by people. I was just made fun of, like, hey, Tom's going to special class.
Okay.
Because every year it happened.
Did you see him back then? Did you see pictures of him?
Well, not then.
Always.
Oh,
Then.
he was yoked when he was in third grade?
Always.
So I'm just saying, there's certain things that we all overcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all overcoming stuff. Every day we're overcoming stuff. We're coming, but I think that's the cool thing about being an overcomer, is that you'll pull yourself up. You'll move forward, and there's a little bit of pride in just making those little small progresses. And that's why I believe in the Bible. It's the biggest book of hope on this. It's the most optimistic book out there, because there is change. There's hope.
The narrative I don't like is just the fact that crime and these casualties and these shootings, it's justifiable if it's the other party's problem or doing. And since we're talking about Kanye, even him, he's like, black people are their own worst enemy. And it's like, well, statistically, he's kind of right. But it's like, oh, well, that's okay. But any other race opposing that, it's like, okay, well, that fits into a narrative. And then the right and the left, they have this like culture war going on. And like this, for example, because this wasn't someone that fit the right-wing agenda, it won't get the credibility from the left the way it should. And now the right probably would do the same. Say it was some crazy conservative racist that came out and did this, some anti-LGBT, say it was someone that fit that narrative. The right would probably bury it. But since they're like, oh no, it's one of your own, let's really highlight this. The thing is, it's just crap. We got to abolish this narrative that it's got to fit a category.
We got to help people that are in trouble.
A shooting happened, and we should just focus on that.
And I don't know what goes behind it. CNN said he was bullied, and it was his upbringing by his grandmother. But I think there was a lot of people that were brought up by their grandmothers and other people.
Yep.
Right down there. I was like looking down there.
Yep,
and you've turned out okay.
Yeah, I think I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah. And your brother, too.
Yeah. We've done okay. We figured it out.
But there again, I think one of the things, and you may think, and you can have your opinion, that we're always on the right conservative side. No, that's not true. I mean, I think we try to pull the bubble in the middle, and we try to explain it, and I can't help it if the right conservative side seems to have a little more common sense at times than the other side,
Just a hair.
Well, I think...
I was a Republican. I voted the first presidential election. I voted for Jimmy Carter. I was there when the dinosaurs walked the earth. Me, not him. But I'm just saying, but I switched parties because I didn't leave the party left me.
Yep.
You know, I was like, I'm still the same guy, but what the heck, you know?
So I'm gonna give Danny the last word on this topic.
I love it.
I just think honestly, and I'm with Kyle here on this, is that we shouldn't, you know, try to, and we need to focus on the actual topic at hand, right? But I think at the same time, I think we need to I guess, make the left remember, right? Because they seem to think that for some reason left people don't have guns. Left people aren't capable of things like this. And that's why as soon as a mass
until
shooting
we
happens,
realize that a mass shooting, and then you're like, oh, some of the left does have guns.
Yep,
They also
exactly.
have hammers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, just anything in general, right? I mean,
Guys, if we go all the way back to the Lincoln assassination, John Wilkes Booth stood on the Democratic side, and Lincoln was a Republican. So if we just even go back there and mention that, we might get shadow banned. But I don't. I mean, like you said, you can't forget that stuff.
no, we can't forget it. I mean, people get shot and they automatically were just Republicans, right wing, blah blah blah, and then now it's like, oh man, and now they're like,
Explodes in their face.
and now they're like, okay, let's go on to the next topic then.
So speaking of the next topic, we always like to bring you a bit of good news, and usually Tom's the one who does that. But this week he was too busy eating turkey and he didn't want to do his job. So the good
I'm not
news
getting paid for my job, okay? I got a quarter a few weeks ago, and I haven't got nothing since then.
Starbucks. So the
I get criticized. That's what I get. I'm telling you, I get a hard time. That's what I get.
You got paid in criticism.
I do.
So what we do have is a bit of good news, and I think I don't think we were able to bring this good news last week, which is by itself ridiculous, right? But the Republicans officially have the House.
That's good news.
That is
Yeah,
good
it's a
news.
little
Great
bit of
news.
balance of power. You know, you've got
Well, good. Maybe Kevin will come on my show now because he doesn't have to worry about he is the Speaker of the House. Then can I say that?
He's not officially the Speaker of the House yet.
Oh, okay.
They're voting. I mean, most likely that will happen.
No, I think.
No,
think.
it's not official.
Okay. I stand corrected, but Kevin, we got to pony up here, dude.
Unless it became official in the last 24 hours, which
Yeah.
would be
Well,
interesting.
I get to talk
doubt
to
they
I
voted
get
on
to talk to
Thanksgiving.
Perry a lot. So Kevin, I am calling you out. I want you on my show. And you said you'll come.
So there's some good news too. You guys get to talk to Kevin.
Go Herschel Walker.
So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this Relevant Rants. I've been just, I loved it that Danny was able to join us. Thank you, Danny, so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Tessa, Taylor, and Tiffany for allowing these men to come. Again, Kyle, love having you back. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. God bless.